Hey guys, welcome back to the What a Lad podcast. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you are officially a lad for doing so. And I guess I'm officially a Cantabrian now. I'm still working on a studio. I'm doing this one from my garage, but I guess that's the beauty of a podcast. You can literally do them anywhere. And speaking of studios, I managed to get to O Studio on the weekend for my very first experience in a float. Oh my God, what an experience that was. Felt like I spent 30 minutes in space. Felt great afterwards. It was such a cool setup up there. If you are in Christchurch, I do highly recommend you go check it out. And if you're somewhere else in the world, I highly recommend you getting in touch with Tim Bateman and starting your very own O Studio. There's a reason why the wellness space is the second fastest growing industry in the world, and it is only going to grow, I can promise you that. And having the opportunity for Timmy to guide you through a process of setting up your very own O Studio would be such an amazing experience. And honestly, if I had spare time or money or both, I would be all in on this. Perfect for anyone who's thinking about something to do post-footy or just a career change. If you're interested, head to ostudio.com/lad to inquire, and I'll leave a link below. Also, last week I went along to Todds Racing stable and saw the champion combo of Regan Todd and the horse What a Lad. Geez, he looks an absolute picture. He's coming along on the track as well. He's about 6 months away from racing, but I'm so hopeful that for everyone who's got involved with him that we are going to have some good times following this lad on the track. Massive shout out to Regan Todd for sponsoring this podcast. Go follow Todds Racing on Facebook and show him some love. But let's get to this one. I've got an absolute lad for you here.
What a lad, what a lad, what a lad, what an absolute lad. What a lad, what a lad, what a lad, what an absolute lad.
Oh, what a lad. And again, guys, I've somehow managed to get on one of the game's great lads. This man has certainly been around the teams, having played for North Otago, Hawke's Bay. He was a Super Rugby winner with the Hurricanes, while he also played for San Diego, Southland, New Orleans, the Blues, and of course he was a USA international and even went to the Rugby World Cup. He is a very well-respected player from players all around the world, and he's always been known as a lad to tell it how it is. So I'm really looking forward to this one with the great lad himself, Tony Lamborn. Welcome, mate.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Mate, great to get you on. I do love getting guys on who have recently retired. A couple of reasons. It's always good to, go through their stories and sort of reflect on their journey, but they've also got no reason to hold back, not waiting for any contracts or anything. Not that you've ever really held back anyway. Like I said, you've always sort of told it how it is throughout your career.
Yeah, that's definitely me. Are you trying to say that Lexi's retired now? Yes, he is. Surely.
Surely not, mate. He's still hoping for All Blacks, so mate. I hope that does happen for the kid, mate.
He's got the rig for it.
Does he? What the man boobs? No, but mate, how has it been? Like the recent retirement. I didn't see this one coming, but what was the reason behind it?
Oh, I think it was I just felt the timing was right. Finished up last year with the Stags and played a couple of games of club rugby and got the 100 caps under belt for my for Havelock North, my club rugby team here in Hawke's Bay.
Yeah.
So just wanted to tick that box off. And then I've got a building company here up in Hawke's Bay, and it's going really well. So it just felt right. I just think I needed to transition to my new season in life, and it's to be honest, it's been a great transition, and couldn't have asked for a better one, to be honest.
Mate, how good is your body? Sweet, like no injuries or anything. You're good to go.
Nah, body's pretty good today. Getting my thumb fixed after New Year's, and all the ligaments and that are all gone, and now I just literally pops in and out when I'm mucking around on the building site.
Sure.
And got to get my ankle fused. It's another one. I literally walk around like a 60-year-old man on the building sites, So, but like other than that, just put on about 10 extra kilos and living the dream, really.
Well, you've cracked it, but mate, that is the I guess that's the downside to the game, eh? Like your body does get absolutely hammered, especially loose forwards. I could imagine, like you must have niggles everywhere, like you've said, your thumb, your ankle, but probably everywhere, eh?
Yeah, no, I've definitely had my fair share of injuries. A few broken bones here and there, but nothing major. I was pretty lucky, to be fair. I didn't have too many like knee, shoulder surgeries or anything like that. I had a couple of ankle surgeries, just cleanups and stuff like that. And I did have one pretty hectic injury in 2018 with the States. I was in Romania, of all places. Last 5 minutes of the game, just had the ball all drawn past down the edge, as I do.
Oh, put him away, no doubt.
Rick Razzle, is pretty much my nickname. Not. But yeah, they just got tackled, hit from the front and the back, and just too much weight on the shank, and it just dislocated out the side, and never had an injury like that before. And it was quite a weird sensation. It was like a really warm feeling, and I didn't feel pain. I just kind of felt this real heat go through my foot and through my ankle. It was obviously just the rush of blood, like escaping inside of your under your skin, and yeah, it just kind of lifted my leg up, and I looked over at the doctor, and I was like, "Holy fucking hell, mate!" He's like, "What?" And I'm like, just showed him my leg. I was like, showed him my leg, and it's just hanging out like this. I'm like, my leg, mate. We were playing Ireland the next weekend in Dublin, and I was like hobbling off. They just popped my ankle back in, and I'm like looking at the head coach like, "She'll be right next week, champ. No dramas."
Did you play?
No shit, bro. I just played footy for another like 6 months.
Jeez, I was gonna say. But was it like just a dislocation? Nothing actually broke or anything around it. Just the ligaments would have been stuffed.
That was the out of it one. Yeah, just ligaments were all rooted. So they had a perfectly fine ambulance there on the field, and anyway, the game had finished by the time I got to it. And hello, someone turns up in a 1998 Toyota Corolla. Get in the back, champ. We're saving gas in the ambulance. I'm like, what's going on here? This guy doesn't speak a lick of English. And the physio came with me, I think, and she went to go sit in the front with him. And I think those guys just don't like women, eh? They just got no respect for them. She jumps in the front seat and he lost his shit at her. And at this stage, I'm fuming because this guy's just having a smoke it with all the other doctors and all the other ambulance drivers out, like, which I'm just sitting in pain. And he's like chatting away. I'm just fuming. So he does that to the physio, and I lose it at him. I'm just like, bro, get me to this hospital. So anyway, they're like, trying to make out. Yeah, it's a private hospital. I'm thinking, oh, beauty. It'd be nice, like it'd be legitimate doctors and surgeons and shit there. You get there's about four nurses and like 2 doctors all starting up the front. I'm just like, what's going on here with this country? Get in there, and this old ass beat up chick, man, she just like, lovely lady, couldn't speak any English, but she's trying to get me up on the x-ray. So I'm sitting up there, and she's trying to place my ankle, and I'm like, obviously can't move it.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't position it for her. She's like, bang! Like, no, like placing it for me. I was just like, you're fucking out of it. Do you realise what my ankle looked like about half an hour ago? Jesus Christ.
That's good times.
Yeah, and then I flew to Dublin the next day, and I went, got an MRI, and met this lovely lady. It was a Kiwi lady. She was in her mid-50s or something, and it was great to talk to someone from home. Yeah, she helped me through it.
Mate, what?
I flew to New Zealand the next day, landed, and my whole leg was black.
Oh, blowing right up, mate. What a yarn to start. Jeez, man, we haven't even got into it yet.
Yeah, sorry, mate. You haven't even asked me any questions.
That's one of the great yarns to start. Love that. But I am keen to hear a little bit more about what you are doing next. You mentioned building. You've said it's been pretty smooth transition so far. So what is your role going to be? What are you going to be doing?
So I've just the building thing was COVID 2020. And I just thought, well, I might as well get ready because I knew I was going to retire within the next 2 or 3 years. So I thought my plan was to play in the next World Cup, 23 World Cup, and then retire after that. And then the US didn't qualify. They're obviously going through the process at the moment. But yeah, I was like, well, I need to get something sorted. I don't want shit to hit the fan once I retire. And then I realize, what have I got here? So just started building company, and it was just me and fortunately my brother's got a really successful building company up here as well, and gave me a couple of houses to build. So just me, and then my old man gave me a hand when I needed him on 2-man. And then I employed a good friend of mine, Penny Kololatu. Played with him back in the day at the Magpies and stuff like that. And he was pretty keen to be a builder, so he gave me a hand. And yeah, over the last 2 years, it's grown from just being me to now I've got 8 builders, and yeah, just got pretty much 23 is fully booked, new houses and all new builds, and a few massive renovations and stuff like that. So now I've got my work cut out for me, that's for sure. But I'm loving every minute of it. The pressure, it's different pressure to the rugby environment. I guess like the rugby, like the pressure is kind of like performance and stuff like that. Whereas this kind of pressure is just fucking remembering what I got to do. I'm just like looking at my diary like, oh, jeez, what have I got here? Fucking hell. But like I said, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. It's good. I like that pressure. Not saying I didn't like the rugby pressure. I felt like I thrived under the pressure, Oh,
did you what? One of the greats.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll miss rugby though?
Oh, I definitely miss it. I said to the boys, like, one of my best mates, Gareth Evans, he literally lives like 200, 300 meters down the road from me, and we chat every single day pretty much. And yeah, I just said to him, look, I miss the playing. I miss the game. I miss playing it, but I do not miss the training. I don't miss the gym, the fitness testing, any of that bullshit. I love playing the game. Yeah. Just letting out some of that frustration and that competitive energy out there. Yeah, that's about it really. I'm enjoying all my boys. My oldest son Jack is he's 6 and he played Ripper the last 2 years. So I coached his Ripper rugby team this year. Oh, yeah. It was a bit of fun. It was just kind of mucking around. He's not really into it. He doesn't really give a shit, but I'm kind of making him do it anyway. I actually was one of those guys that was like, nah, I'm not going to make my kids play rugby. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Not thinking that my kid didn't actually want to play rugby. I thought he'd really love it. Nah, don't want to play that. He's pretty bloody good at it. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with that, and I think I have put my hand up to help where I can with the Prem team.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but North, yeah.
Pass that knowledge on.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Just wing it. I think I've winged it the whole way.
I think we all have, to be honest.
Yeah.
But anyway,
some kind of freak, and I definitely wasn't one of those.
No, neither here. But mate, anyway, I do always like to start from the start with the journeys, see where it all started for them. So where did it all start for the young Tony Lamborn?
So I was born in Timaru and then grew up in Ashburton in the mid-Canterbury, dairy farming background. Didn't know too much about rugby, didn't really give a shit about rugby. Knew I was actually quite an athlete. I was pretty fast and strong. And so I was into athletics. I was into the high jump, long jump and all that type of stuff, and your 100-meter sprint and all that.
What age was this?
This was just primary school through to intermediate, and then just before high school, I started playing. One of my good friends, Ben Bailey. He was my best mate growing up. Through intermediate and through primary school and that. He might watch this later on. He's good footy lad down in Christchurch.
Right.
Good to see you, Ben. And yeah, he asked me to play, and so I chucked me on the wings. It was obviously pretty quick. And just took off from there. I was into it. Made rep teams every year from there on, and then you get a few hairs on your balls, and you start growing a bit taller, a bit bigger, and still managed to hold my speed, but started getting a bit too big for the wing. We were in my age, so yeah, they chucked me in the loose forwards, and I never looked back.
Mate, what age did you go into the loosies?
Oh, I think I might have been probably about 14.
Oh
15.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember playing my first game when I was about 12 or 13. Yeah.
And just quick ass. Love that.
Yeah. I was lightning. Right.
And you left school pretty young, eh? What was it?
Yeah.
16?
I left Ashburton College when I was just turned 16 and went and worked for the old man. The old man was like, "Ah, look, you're no good at this. You're no good at this school shit, boy. You might as well just like use some sort of whatever you've got in the top two and just come work for me." So this stage, the old man had sold all his farms and pretty much retired, but was bored shitless. So he's laying tiles and stuff for his good friend Dave Taylor. And so I just started laying tiles, and then my brother had a roofing company, so I was helping him with his roofing company. And then 2008, when I was 16, I moved up to Hawke's Bay. Just wanted something different, wanted a change. I knew I wasn't going to become any kind of like, I never thought I was ever going to crack it in rugby, but I just wanted a challenge, I wanted something different. So yeah, moved up to Hawke's Bay 2008 and went to Havelock North Rugby Club. And as a 16-year-old, and I was like, I'm here to play for the Prems. And I was like, shit, under 21s, boys. So I was 16-year-old playing under 21s for the next, I think it was like 2 or 3 years. And then managed to get a lick in with the Prems in there. And then, yeah, just stayed in it from there.
Crack up. How did you find that as a 16-year-old playing in that league?
Oh, I don't know. I think my first year was kind of just, I came in about halfway through the season. So kind of got a just good look at off the bench and had some real good lads in the team, like some guys I still look up to this day, like just absolute lads, and took me under their wing. And I got my cousin's ID, so I was like, they're taking me on the piss, and I learned to grow up real quick.
I could imagine.
So after that, I think I was about 90 kilos dripping wet, but that was all good. Under 21s.
So obviously a lot of questions came in about your do stories. You obviously go really good on a do. You run a good do. I'm guessing this is where it all sort of started for you as a 16-year-old, following the 21-year-olds, and then throughout your career always being that sort of young guy in the older cultures.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't surprised when you gave me a little peek at some of those. Just I love a good do. Get real excited for it. Always that guy that's pushing for as many court sessions throughout the season, love always being at the head table so I can just control the situation, get everyone drinking piss. Don't get me wrong, there's like times have changed since when I first had my first court sessions and stuff like that. Like you were a dick if you didn't drink piss. If you didn't drink beer, like nah.
Yeah.
You're not even welcome. Don't even sit down.
Yeah.
Get it. But these days, like there's a few boys that don't drink and stuff like that. It's all there's no dramas these days. It's all respected. So still welcoming you in and get you doing something else, chocolate milk or something like that.
Right, and then you moved down. You moved down to North Otago, after that.
Yeah. So I was in the academy, Hawke's Bay Academy, and I was in the Magpies setup all the way until they picked their final team, and I didn't make it. And so I got picked up by North Otago as a lone player, as a 19-year-old, and I remember Glenn Moore, Growler. He was one of the coaches, and Barry Matthews. They call him Rat. I think he's still coaching down there actually. Top guy. Rat let me live on his dairy farm. Had to pull the odd tit about 4 a.m. the odd morning just to earn my rent. Also, I was on the rubbish trucks.
Oh, wow.
I was on the back of the rubbish trucks. I did that mostly. I just remember just thinking, fuck, I'll do the rubbish trucks and I'll get so fit. I'll just get so fit. But as a 19-year-old, I think you don't get any fitter. You kind of just hit a certain point and you just 95 kilos dripping wet. So there's no issues. I went down there, and that's when I really learned how to drink some beers, man. I was living with a guy called Josh. He's a legend. I catch up with him most years. We go for a hunt and stuff like that. I was living with him on Rat's dairy farm. He was the manager there, so got to see some interesting things. He showed me around. It would be literally. I think the boys were getting $100 a week, and I was getting paid $200 a week cash.
Oh, true.
I didn't even sort it out. I think they just decided to give it to me because I was young buck.
Yeah.
So I always just spent that all straight on piss that weekend, because you fly up on the Friday, you play the Saturday, and you fly back on the Sunday. So She was always a big, heavy weekend wherever you were. But man, those boys, I learned a lot from them.
Mate, what was your initiation into that team as a young fella? Must have been brutal.
Always nudity.
Yeah.
Always nudity. I actually can't remember, to be honest. Maybe too many head knocks. I can't remember that type of shit.
Mate, you've done that many initiations. You've been
I've
to
had a
that
few
many
initiations,
teams.
I've had a few initiations. Never hold back. Always just all go.
Right, and then the following year you made your Hawke's Bay team. So that was what you're trying to make the year before. The following year you made it.
Yeah. I just was lucky enough. Craig Philpott was the coach, and Danny Lee, and they gave me a shot. And just basically, I was just a sponge. I was behind Carl Lowe.
Oh, legend.
And Brendan O'Connor, Chonna, a couple of legends. Trent Bowles Wakefield. Mike Coleman. So I just had these absolute lads in front of me, and I just soaked it all up and just learned as much as I could, and it was quite good going into that following year. I just had all the confidence in the world. I had nothing to lose. They just re-signed me, and I just felt heaps of confidence, and I wasn't too worried about any performance or anything like that. So it was a dream result, really. Yeah. I never thought I would ever make it, if you know what I mean. Like I never thought, oh shit, like my goal was to become a magpie. I always wanted to, but I never thought it would actually happen. And then when that happened, I thought, oh shit, well, my next goal would be try and make Super Rugby, not thinking that it would actually happen. It happened, and then then the kind of the rest happens from there. But
why didn't you think it was going to happen? Like what was sort of holding you back with you?
I don't know. Like I definitely don't lack any confidence. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just a buddy dairy farmer from mid Canterbury. You don't hear too many stories.
Yeah.
I know Isaac Ross. He was the legend back in Ashburton because he made it. And who was the other guy, man? There was a couple of wee lads that cracked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just was like, just was pretty content with what I'd done. So I was just like, oh well. Like you've always got to have a goal. Like don't get me wrong. Like you've always got to strive for something. But in all honesty, I didn't really think it was going to happen. I was just like, oh well. Like I'm pretty stoked with what's going on. I just got qualified. Like my building apprenticeship. So I was just like, I cracked it. I've cracked it. I'm only 20 years old and I'm playing pro rugby and I've got my ticket. So I'm like, hey, fuck, I'm sweet.
Yeah.
I'm sorted. Yeah.
And then it was I think it was from memory, like 2015 where you really sort of kicked into gear. I'm guessing probably Carl Lowe and stuff had left, or you just got a few more opportunities that year where I think you took Hawke's Bay to the final, losing to Tasman by a kick. From memory, but mate, that was the year where you really put your hand up.
That situation, poor Ehire has been put in that situation so many times. So the next season, I just felt so confident. There was no issues. I just it all just fell in my lap. Really, the first game of the season was against the Marcos down there. Come off the bench. I remember Doogie Edmonds was my roomie. And he gave me the John Olomu full shave with the cuff on the front, and I came off the bench. This is what I mean. I just gave zero fucks. There was just no dramas. It was all good. Had that tough on the front, and I came off the bench and just had a blinder, and then I didn't really see the pine after that.
Yeah,
but still had Brendan O'Connor was there. So Chonna was still playing 7. He was skipper, and then. I just basically had to learn to be a 6, and they were keen. They were keen on it because they wanted to play 2 open sides basically, and lacking a little bit in height, but it was all good. I just made do, and I was still pretty light. I was still only just over 100 clicks, so the big boys just threw me up there. No dramas. Ash Dixon always put it right on the money.
Mate, what a team! What a team!
Oh, a hell of a team. Shit, yeah.
What was it like after that final? Obviously, you would have been pretty gutted, but. Hawke's Bay always go good on a do by the sounds. Yeah, just classic young fella. I was pretty gutted. I think I was more gutted just for my mate E because I could see how gutted he was and how much it meant to him. To be honest, I didn't really give a shit. I was just I was just oh, fuck, footy's footy. Shit happens. Plenty more years to go around. That's kind of was my mentality. And I was just, once I kind of
he was like, nah, it's all good, bro. Like, we'll get on the piss. I was like, sweet, no dramas. We're all good. Everything's okay. There's no dramas, boys. We're all good. We have a hell of a do.
Oh, no doubt. And then you get a call into the Canes. Was this for a wider squad or was this a full contract?
That was a wider squad, yeah. At that stage, Artie had already said to Plumtree and Boydie that he was going to play in the Olympics or something like that.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So they needed another backup open side because Cully was obviously the next off the rank. And so I was just going to cover for him. And I just had like the best season of my life with the Magpies in 2015. You got player of the season and everything. So it was like just a dream come true, really. Basically just went there to soak it all up again. And I didn't expect too much game time. I think I played 4 or 5 games, all off the bench. But, hey, you wouldn't change it for the world. It was pretty cool. And then getting to play in the semi-final against
right. I remember that.
the Chiefs because Cully had a niggle. And I was just praying that he was – because I remember once we won the semi, I was just like, oh, come on, Cully. Bro, surely it's no good. You know, and he's like, no, it's sweet. Ah, damn it.
You got big minutes in that game too, from memory.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I remember always from about 15 minutes into the game looking up at the coach's box, doing at the old ready now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you said what Cully was obviously back from injury, so he was back selected into the final, and you missed out on the 23, but still obviously got to be part of a Super Rugby winning team, and I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but it's the only time they've won it, the year that you were there.
And I know, there's something special about me. I don't know. But I don't know if I can claim that because I've been in some teams and I've been in a team we didn't win one game in the whole season.
Mate,
I only give you one
been
guess.
in 2 of those.
I only give you one guess who it was. Anyway.
Yeah, true. Stags, I'm guessing. Or America. Oh, I don't know.
No, it was Stags. It was Stags 2018. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. We came back. We was good after that.
Tough. Yeah. So, obviously, a good year with the Canes. Every time you got an opportunity, you stepped up. What happened there? Like, I always sort of wanted to know what happened there. Like, you're playing well. You had a good year the following year, and then just weren't selected. So,
yeah, I think my downfall my whole career probably has just been my off field, like just not putting. I don't know what the word is, commitment, I think. Like there was a lot of shit I used to just tick boxes on, man. Just like, I did my sprints over the weekend, boy, no dramas, tick, just giving it that one. But it would show in like fitness tests and shit like that. Just full of shit. Just living my best life, basically. And I remember just always approaching Plumtree and just being like, how am I going? Like, what do I need to be working on? And he's always going to be like, mate, everything's all good. Like, you're going sweet. Yeah. You're only young, you're taking all your opportunities. Like, no dramas. Everything's looking good. So we have our one-on-one at the end of the year, and he's like, mate, you fucking were terrible. You should have been doing this. Man, honestly, I was fired up in our review, Just stood up, and I was like, you piece of shit. Probably didn't sign me because of that, because I called him a piece of shit. Bordy almost had to stand and just, like, stop the situation because it got heated, man.
True. Did you literally get it? Oh, true, man.
I was dark because I was like, bro, I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I shot myself in the foot because I was, I wasn't always doing what needed to be done off field. But like when I was asking the questions and stuff like that, you want your coach to be honest and telling you that it's all good. I forgive him.
Mate, almost Biffa on the end of your review.
It was so close. I remember telling Waddy about it. Waddy was just like, it's all good, mate. No dramas. Gave me a dart. Sweet hands.
Waddy would have been egging you on.
Oh, he loves it, Biff. Yeah, no dramas. But yeah, and then, so it was kind of like, look, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's all good. We still think you're a great player, but you're just some stuff you need to work on. And then that 2017 season, remember they changed the breakdown rules and you couldn't pilfer the ball. You couldn't steal the ball.
Right.
You had to, like, mate, that's my game.
Yeah.
I'm a 7, so I struggled mentally, just like with the confidence side of things. And then all the pressure got to me. Like I realized, like, shit, I'm actually fucking an okay player. I made Super Rugby and stuff like that. Played some games. Like, I need to be playing way better than this. And the pressure really got to me. And then I went over with the States and just tried to like move on from it all. And I was looking for gigs overseas and was real close to signing a deal with Newcastle Falcons.
Oh, yeah.
And this is in 2018. And it was just about to sign on the dotted line, basically, like a few days out. And then my mum called me, and well, actually, my dad did. My dad's, if anyone knows my dad, he's like 6'7" or 6'8", ginger, and about 115 kilos. So he's a dairy farmer his whole life. He's a hard man with a slight American twang to his accent. And he calls me up and he goes, "Oh, hey boy, how's it going over there?" "Yeah, no, sweet as." "Oh yeah, I just want to let you." And he started crying, and I was like, "What's going on? What's going on here?" My old man never cries, but I could tell from the phone. I couldn't see him, but could hear it in his voice. And he's like, "Oh, Mum's got cancer. I'm freaking out."
True.
So yeah, I just packed everything up and came home, and yeah, basically at that stage, the Mitre 10 Cup was just about to start, and I was lucky to pick up a gig with the Stags in 2018, and that's where it started.
True. So did you get over to Newcastle? Were you actually there?
Nah, I wasn't. I was in the US at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just trying to just plan my next move, basically. Had my wife back in New Zealand, and my wife Abby, she was waiting for me to see what's going on.
So she didn't go to America with you when you were playing over there?
Yeah, she came over for a little bit in San Diego with Jack, just for a little bit, and then wasn't really her thing, the big city and all that. So sent her home, and I knew, like, look, something's gonna pop up anyway, so just hold fire and we'll sort it out. And then that all happened. So then I just cruised on off home after that, and that's when I started struggling mentally, like big time. I started, didn't know if it was depression, but maybe a slight depression, but it was definitely anxiety. I used to just freak out for no reason. I didn't know what it was about, why it was, and started seeing a psych and the shrink, and he just explained to me basically, it's just a season in life. I think like most people go through this side of things. You're not to just think I was like, doesn't happen to anyone. I didn't even know mental health was a thing, man. Like, honestly, I didn't even.
Yeah.
Just one of those kids grew up, just everything was just mint.
Yeah.
Everything was so mint, and all of a sudden, life just got so tough, and I played at this massive high level, and I wanted to just stay there, but it just wasn't happening because I'd just gone like this. Honestly, I'd gone Hawke's Bay, gone like that, starting every game, Hurricanes, and then Eagles, and then just like had nothing, like just nothing. So I just was struggling, man. And at that time, it was like I thought it was my identity. I thought that's who I was. I was Tony Lamborn, the rugby player. So, and then my mum being sick as well. I was a mama's boy, so I just struggled, man. It was big time. But had awesome people around me. It helped that I was just being honest with how I was feeling, and I was struggling, and stuff like that. And yeah, no, definitely got through it and got out the other side, and always been, I guess, I was really good at like after and during, I got really good at understanding it and what was triggering those feelings, and all these different emotions that are going through my head and why that possibly could be. And then, some of my friends started going through it, and other people I hadn't met, but I was always pretty keen to reach out because I felt like I had a little bit of experience and a bit of knowledge. So, yeah, I think, and to be honest, I do say this to a lot of people, like I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't actually say I wish that never happened to me, because it made me the man I am today. I'm definitely stronger for it. And yeah, it was just it was like almost like it was like a blessing in disguise. Some would say, like that's how I would describe it. You know, like I learned so much from it. It helped me grow and mature and sort me out. Apart from the piss drinking still hasn't really didn't sort that out at all. But enjoying life, we just got to live life to its fullest.
Yeah. So was this mainly when you were in America by yourself, or was this once you'd moved down to Southland?
Once I moved back home,
Yeah.
and then the struggles with the Southland thing, I seemed to be fine when I was playing, when I was like
Yeah.
in the environment, you know, doing what I believed was what I was
Mm.
meant to be doing and stuff like that. So I felt fine. And then when I'm like playing every week, trying to impress super coaches and trying to get a gig, and it wasn't happening, and you're getting, as you would know, you get awesome feedback from your agent, but you don't get shit, mate. You're going to get a phone call from the Blues coaches any day now, and you just get nothing. You piece of shit. I'm not going to say who it was. I've changed agents since then. I don't have him. He was the man though.
But
Not
you
really.
you were playing really good footy for the Stags at the time, eh? And I remember
Yeah,
like everyone, like the whole. I remember reading articles. Everyone was predicting you to be picked up, and everyone was so confused why you weren't in a squad, and that
what?
must have been hard for you.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, yeah, that was what was making it harder. You see,
Mm,
like I was like, well, I'm not the only one that believes in myself here. Like, everyone else is kind of seeing it. But I think maybe it was just the style of player that I am. I think I was just a bit of an old school, hard nosed type player, and I think a lot of teams were just looking for the young kid out of school, Rasley,
mm,
Artie Severe, bloody type player.
mm.
Like there's Artie's is 1 in a billion player. Like you're not going to get that fella. You're not just going to get him popping out every bloody city, but yeah, so I don't know. Look, end of the day, it didn't happen, and but I did struggle with it. But yeah, over the years, it probably was once, yeah, like it kind of it was a good couple of years. It took me to kind of figure it all out for sure.
Did the fact
It,
that you were capped with USA make that way harder for you to pick up a Super Rugby
yeah,
contract?
yeah, that definitely made things a hell of a lot harder. I remember I was over in Argentina with the US, and we just finished our final game, and my agent rang me up and said, "Hey, Jimmy Lynch's is dislocated his knee or broken his leg or something like that, or his shoulder. I'm not sure. And the Hollanders want you in for the rest of the season. I'll put you on a full gig, all sort of." Tony Brown rings me up just before the flight, and he's like, "Hey mate, real keen to get you here. Like your style. We're just sorting out something with New Zealand Rugby at the moment, but don't worry. Get on the plane. You've got a 15-hour flight. Get on the plane, and when you land, we'll give you a couple of days your family, and then you'll get down there. Land. First message I get from my agent was like, nah, Hollanders already had their quota for their international players, and they wouldn't give you a dispensation.
Far out.
Joey Wheeler, I remember, because he played under a UK passport or something, so he went under as a foreign player. So that's what fucked me, eh? Like,
Did he?
I was like, fucking asshole, but it's all good.
That is brutal, though. Fly you back for a gig and then nothing.
I know, yeah, because I was planning on going back to the States just for a couple of weeks, just to have a bit of a bender with the boys, because we just basically had a big tour. I think it was like 2 months, so I was like keen to go back to the States just for a couple of weeks, bit of a bender, and then go back home.
When you signed with this, or when you obviously played your first game with the States, did that ever come into your mind around how hard it was going to be for you to then make super and all the sort of things that come with playing internationally?
Mate, I didn't even know it was a thing. Honestly, I didn't. I just was like just young, and just like I was like, this is what was going through my head. I remember it was in the Hurricanes, and I was like, John Plumtree gets me in his office. He's like, "Hey, my brother-in-law, John Mitchell, is the head coach of the US team. He's real keen to get you, into his team. Obviously, your dad being born and raised in the States, you can get, you're straight in." And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool." And he's like, "Oh, like have a good think about it anyway." And I was like, "Well, was there any like kind of any backlash or anything like that?" He's like, nah, you sweet ass. Hit my agent up, mate. It was like, oh, mate, just being a young kid, I think I just blanked out because I'd already made up on my mind that I was going to do it. So I just probably didn't listen. He probably did tell me. And I just remember thinking, oh, well, Artie's just made the All Blacks. Sam Cane's in there, and I think McCaw was still playing for the All Blacks at that stage. And I was just like, the next step is the All Blacks. I don't think this will ever happen. Like, Artie is a far better player than me. You know, there's so many other loose forwards in this country that would make the All Blacks before I would. So I was just like, nah, look, this is not going to happen. So the next best option was be in the US, and I get to do some traveling and do all that type of stuff. So, yeah, I just, that was it. Made up my mind. And debut game against Italy, scored a try on debut. And remember, we just lost by like 2 points, I think. We were trying to milk the penalty at the end to win the game, but it's never happened. But, yeah.
How was it over there? Like, how did it compare? Obviously, you're coming from the Hurricanes into USA rugby team. What was the level like? What was the differences?
Well, no, there wasn't a hell of a lot of difference in terms of like how we were going to play and shit, because John Mitchell, literally John Plumtree had sent him the Canes game plan and the structures and the plays and everything. So I was just like, hey, boys, round it up. Come around here, boys. I'll sort you out. This is how we do it back home. Marty Veal was our forwards coach at the time as well, so he's an absolute lad. I still chat with him very often. So they were just trying to play exactly like the Canes. I did struggle at the start, just trying to because I'd been playing with the Canes, so you know, and most of these guys are All Blacks and stuff like that. So just training with these very high skilled players and going to the States was kind of tough. You know, like, it was. Not saying it was terrible. They're definitely good players and stuff. They picked the best of the best in the States, but just struggled with the level of skill and stuff like that at some points, and their understanding of the game kind of as well. I think it's just basically just been in our blood forever. You know, like, we're just born into it, so it all comes off. But a lot of these guys were playing American football and shit like that for a long time, through high school, and then they realise, oh, well, shit, football's not working out, I'll give rugby a crack. And so still pretty fresh chooks when it came down to it.
And you've obviously been there from the start of the MLR to what it is now, pretty much. So how have you found the sort of growth of rugby over there?
Yeah, no, massively. I think back when it was their first season with San Diego, it was still real fresh. Everyone was trying to still figure out where their home stadiums were going to be, where's everyone's training. It was just like, hey, fucking, let's just have a team here. This is your team. You have this team. Sort your own shit out. Like, you sort out where you're going to train and stuff like that. I remember landing there with Abby and Jack, and we were supposed to have a car there at the airport. Wasn't a car. I had to get an Uber. Uber to this address. We get there, bro, and there's another couple living in the house.
True.
And I'm like, what's going on here? Ring up the manager. I'm like, bro, there's like another family living in this house. And he's like, yeah, that's all good, isn't it? And he's a Kiwi guy. And I was like, fuck no. Would you do that back home? No, you wouldn't. I was like, get me out of here, man. This is bullshit. I didn't come here for this. Like, you know, like, you guys are promising me all this stuff and you're delivering donuts. Like, you're just giving me nothing. My missus is like, okay, get me out of this shithole now.
Oh, I could imagine, mate. It's hard enough moving to a new country, let alone having that sort of debacles on arrival.
Oh, you know, and it's like from Auckland to LA was like a 11, 12-hour flight, and then you've got like a 20-minute little flight from LA to San Diego. So you just wrecked.
Yeah.
The young fellas playing up on the airport. So you just... Oh, sweet. You know, I took a sleeping pill. I was no dramas. Mrs. had to sort that out. But so she was just in a dark place. Eh? Just like, get me out of this fucking shell. So we lived in a hotel for like, it was like a nice hotel too. We lived in a real nice hotel for like a month. And then Abby was like, no, I'm out of here. I'm gone.
Is that when she went back to New Zealand and you stayed there?
Yeah, I just stayed there.
True. In the hotel for the rest of the season? Or did you move back to
I
your mate's place?
Yeah. No, I stayed in the hotel the whole season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Far
That was
out.
all good. Sorry, I didn't live in the hotel the whole time. I think it was the last month or so, I moved into this Kiwi guy's place, loaded as dude. He lived in it was called Cardiff. It's called Cardiff
Oh yeah.
in San Diego. It's where Danny Lee's living now, actually. And he had this massive mansion, man, and but he had this like guest house, like a separate, like second dwelling type thing. It was kitted out. It was awesome. So I lived there, and this Kiwi's guy's name's Willie Dent, and smokes a pack of darts every hour type dude. Got an epic man cave like down in this basement down below his house. Big pool. Had like pet hawks and falcons and shit like that. Had like epic big cars. So his gig was he was like an electrician and wired up like he said he did Kobe Bryant's house. He was alive back then. Wired up like his home theater system, like big, like literally a movie theater in his house.
Yeah.
Did all that shit. Cracked that guy. Legend. Still talk to him all the time. Absolute legend.
All right.
About 60 years old, just whipping. Shouted me a trip to Las Vegas. That stays there.
Mate, that is living.
Live the dream.
Did you host a court session in his man cave?
Mate, we had heaps of court sessions. I'm not even kidding. He'd get all the boys round to his house, just get tanked up. And the boys loved it because it was unlimited piss and you just go for it.
Yeah.
And he had a big punt, his man cave was just a big punting room. The boys were just slapping away, just like beating on the dogs, on the horses, all sorts of shit. It was unreal.
Mate, that is unreal. So did you go back there the following year? Or you changed clubs, didn't you?
Yeah, I can't even remember the process. So, 2018, then I did my ankle. And then so I had like 6 months, I had surgery, then I had 6 months off. And then I got called into the Melbourne Rebels and as like an injury cover, but was also injured. So it was real weird. Like, and I told them, like, they rang me up, they're like, hey mate, like, how's your injury going? Blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, fucking, it's shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's getting there though. Like, yeah, any week now type thing. So they got me in there to help me rehab and sorted me up. But I just trained in there and got absolutely hooked up by this guy that owned this rugby club over there. It was loaded, and yeah, that was a good time over in Melbourne. It was great, good experience.
Mate, you get all the hookups with all the loaded kids.
Oh mate, yeah. Well, this guy's he's like a Sri Lankan or something, and owns the Moorabbin Rams. His name's Arvin David, absolute weapon.
True.
And yeah, he just said, "Oh look, you come play for my club. I'll give you this sick apartment and I'll give you a car and all good." So it's getting paid by the Melbourne Rebels, and I was also getting paid by them because I was just playing. I was playing each weekend, so I think he's paying like $500 a week cash on top of everything else.
Oh yeah.
It's creaming it, mate. I was living the dream, and I was like just doing rehab. I was hobbling every weekend. Like, definitely why I've got to get my ankle fixed now, because I came back way too early. My ankle was rooted.
Yeah. But you never played for the Rebels, did you?
No, I remember like one of the first weeks I was there, it was the first game against the Canes in Wellington.
Oh, yeah.
And I was training in the like 23, but they had me bracketed with another player. And so I still travelled and flew back and stayed in Wellington. And unfortunately I didn't. They were just like, oh, no, we're going to go with a different option. So I was like, sweet ass.
Oh, yes, that would have been good. But you were with them for the whole season?
Yep, went for the whole season because my debut game was against the Melbourne Rebels for the Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah.
So then I was thinking, fuck, my first debut game for the Rebels is going to be against Canes. You can't read about it. But yeah, no, it was a good time.
Right, and another thing I'm keen to talk to you about is obviously going to the Rugby World Cup with USA in Japan. Must have been some experience, and I've always sort of wondered what it's like. I obviously speak to guys in All Blacks and some of the bigger teams that go to the Rugby World Cup, but what's it like going with the USA team? Like, what's your sort of expectations, and how's it all work?
My expectations were to, I just went there to win. Like, I went there to try and win. That's my mentality. Every time I play rugby, I just want to put everything I can out there to try and win the game. But I thought, like, definitely could at least win one, maybe even two. I remember the first game was against England, and man, we were down by like five points, I think, with about 20 to go, and then kind of blew out in the last like 10, 15 minutes. They put another 2 or 3 tries on us, but like stayed right in it. And then I remember against France, we were beating them at one point, and then they kind of clawed back and then beat us in the last 10 so minutes again. And then Argentina, they absolutely thrashed us. And then Tonga, we were beating them all the way through. And then Toulouse Vainu,
That's right.
bastard, just like pulled some shit out of his ass, as he does, because he's an absolute freak. And yeah, they scored under the sticks and kicked the goal to win it. So it was like, yeah, I was gutted, man, honestly, because I was like, I wanted to just win a game and qualify straight away for the next World Cup and shit like that. But yeah, I was pretty gutted. I remember thinking after the World Cup, like, I was a bit gutted in the like few of the boys in the team. You know, I felt like only a few of us that really actually wanted to win, but a lot of them, like a few of the other boys, were just stoked with just being there. And that might be hard for a few boys to hear that, but that's just me being honest, and that's just who I am. So just straight up. But you know, I thought that a few of the boys were just happy to be there and were just clipping the ticket, whereas there's a few of us that really wanted to win, you know. And I think that's what could have been the difference.
They're not qualified yet, and it's looking unlikely that they're going to, or they're still a chance?
No, it looks like they are. So they beat Hong Kong and they beat Kenya. So they've got to win one more. They're in Dubai at the moment, living the dream. So they've got to. I don't know who the last game's against. Someone weird, but they've got to win that game. They will win all 3 and they qualify. Yeah, so should be all good.
And if they qualify, you won't be tempted to put the boots back on for one more Rugby World Cup.
It's going to be so hard to lose 10 kilos. Like, I don't think I've ever lost 10 kilos before. I've lost 5 kilos. I remember for the Blues, I come back from COVID, and again, you know, my off-field shit. I was ticking boxes saying I was doing all the running and all the yo-yos and beat tests and shit I was supposed to be doing out on the footy field with my mask on. I just was ticking boxes, and I came in there another like 5 kilos heavier. They made me lose 5 kilos in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, and I ran it was like a 5-minute 30-something Bronco. It was ridiculous. And these guys are like, mate, you're running like a 5:02 or something like that before you left. I was just like, yeah, look, I might have lied. I didn't think we were coming back. Honestly, I thought COVID rooted everyone. I like hearing about all these comps, premiership, everything. They're just calling it quits on it. And I thought, we're not coming back. So, like, why am I going to waste my time doing shit that I absolutely hate?
Oh, shit, that came back to bite you.
Fuck, I tell you what, because before COVID, I was negotiating 2 more years, signing 2 more years with them.
Oh, true.
They came back and they were like, beat it.
True.
Signed Dylan Hunt. And I was like, damn it.
Mate, I was wondering what happened there too, because even that year when you got your opportunities, mate, you were playing some good footy again, eh?
Yeah, like Tom Contry, he's a good man, and he loved my style of play, and he's seen my game against England, and I played really well in that game, and he called me before the game and said, "Oh, look, like we're having a look at you, and you just play really well in the World Cup, and then we'll see how we go." And then after the England game, he rang me like I was in the sheds. He was in Japan. He watched the game.
Oh yeah.
We want to sign you like now. So I was like, sweet.
Sorted.
And like you said, I took all my opportunities and put a lot of competitive edge at trainings with the Blues, and I feel, without sounding real cocky or anything, but I felt like I was a major like difference in that forward pack and changing and helping not only the culture but like that competitiveness at trainings and like bringing the best out in some guys. Like definitely when I first got there, I remember just like we're doing a hardcore contact session, and I was going pretty hard. And I remember one of the boys saying to me, bro, why you like take it easy? Like we're all here trying to survive. And I was like, nah, bro, I've been told, like the coaches have told me, man, this is what's wrong. You guys are like just fucking ticking boxes, bro.
Yeah.
At training, Hey,
from the ultimate.
Watching, hey, well, no one's watching, bro. All good. Pick whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh, true. That's interesting to hear, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that basically what happened. I just cocked it all up. Again, I wouldn't change it. What shouldn't change for the world. Everything happens for a reason. So help me figure out. I've just got to. I'm getting old now. I need to sort out what the future is for me, not only me but for my wife and my boys. So well, at that stage, I only had the one, but Abby was pregnant with Quinn, our youngest. It's almost two, and yeah, and that in 2020, I got they asked me to captain the Stags, and that's where the massive like pride and like I loved Hawke's Bay, and don't get me wrong, I've always felt like my heart's been hoop black and white, but just playing for that team and getting to lead it was just something different. And I think like I always said, oh well, I'll never play for everyone else again. Like I always play for the Stags. But I guess shit, life goes on, and eventually, like if I was still playing, then if someone offered me a contract, I'd be in there. But like it's just it was just I love my time down there, and I felt like we definitely made a difference. We hadn't won a game for like 2 or 3 years or something consecutively, and then our first game was against Hawke's Bay, my old team, down in Invercargill, and we beat them for it was like 30 game like losing streak or something like that, and we beat them, and they went on to win it or be in the finals or something that year. So, and I think we won like maybe 3 or 4 games that season, so that was epic. And then 21, we didn't win as many games, but just the way the whole comp worked out, and we ended up making the semis against
Taranaki.
Taranaki.
That's right.
Taranaki, and that's the old
yeah, go on. Shove it up your ass though.
Shove it up their ass as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, one of the great after-match speeches. So talk to me about that. Like, were you guys getting a fair bit of hate up and leading into that?
Yeah, we were, man. We were getting heaps of hate, like people being like, oh, they don't deserve to be there. Like, they've only won like 2 games or 3 games or something, so why do they deserve to be in the semi-finals? I think it was the other team that was potentially could have been there was like Counties or Manawatu or something, and we'd beaten them on points or something, so that's how it worked out, or we'd scored more tries or something. So we made it, and we were copping it, man. Honestly, it sucked, and it was the thing is we played them the week before, like literally the week before the semi, and we freaking give them a good nudge, and then semi-final was like pissing down with rain, and we were just like. We were just rubbing our hands, getting like, this is, we're born for, like down south, we born in this shit. We're freaking born in this shit, So, I can't remember what the score was now, but we only just lost. And, I can't remember, he asked me, you been copying a bit of, I can't remember how it all went, but.
Yeah.
Shove it up your ass, as far as I'm concerned, mate. Honestly, I didn't get one hate message after that.
Yeah, everyone's loving it.
I got hundreds of messages from people being like, good on you, boy.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Mate, it's always good when someone speaks what's on their mind. I mean, there's just not enough of it in the game. So it's always refreshing when someone just says whatever comes out.
So. Buy your ass. That.
Oh, mate, what a career. But how do you look back on your career? Like, obviously you've done a lot.
Yeah. Like, extremely proud and definitely like real grateful. There's been some huge like people in my life that helped me throughout it all, and some guys that gave me the opportunities and believed in me and stuff like that. So, I definitely wouldn't have accomplished all of that stuff without those people. And, one of them being Abby, my wife, and Joe Payton, who first called me into the academy back in the day, and then Tom Comtree believing me, and Danny Lee is still to this day the best coach I've ever had in my life. And I think he deserves higher honours than coaching at San Diego. I think he really enjoys it over there. But, real grateful, but definitely proud of what I've accomplished, and definitely didn't think I was going to get that far. That's for sure. But some massive things, like winning the Ranfurly Shield, 2 times, 3 times. I know, and Michael Allardyce wants me to share a story.
Go on now. Do it now. I know he sent in the question, but you may as well share it.
Oh, so being the young guy in the team, it was my first year for the Magpies. Otago have the Shield, and we're playing them at Forsyth Bar Stadium. And I actually never got on the field. I was on the bench, and it was such a tight game. We won it. And because I was the youngest in the team, I had to look after the Shield. So anyway, me being me, just hooked into the piss. We had a short turnaround. we had counties like 4 days later. But it was like, fuck it. Hawke's Bay haven't won the Shield in like 50-something years. So we well and truly hooked into it. I remember Sumo Stevenson was on the piss with us. And this is out the game. We had, I was with a few other guys. I'm not going to name anymore. Sumo had buggered off at this stage. And we were on the street walking some of the flats and stuff like that. And there was this random chick hanging around, bro, like hanging around, would not leave us alone. And she's like, I just wanna have sex with the Shield. I just wanna fuck on the Shield or something like that. And I'm like on the road, lying down. Someone, just grubs, eh? Back, I'm 22 years old or 20 years old. I don't even know how old I was, just living the dream. And I remember waking up in the morning. And we're like, shit, we've got to go. And I've still got this thing. They had strapping taped it to me like X-Men. It was strapped to my bear's skin. So I had this thing strapped to me. I woke up in the morning. I'm like, fuck, we'll get this off. So I look half respectable, get my kid on. We're in the bus traveling to the manager's like, where the fuck are like 3 or 4 of the little shields? The little shields on it.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at it like, oh shit. Holy shit. Just panicking all the way, and they're going, because we're going to get to the airport and there's going to be thousands of people there taking photos, and the one thing they're going to notice is there's shields missing. What kind of story are we going to come up with here? And I'm like, shit. I'm like, look, you guys figure it out. I've got to just sit at the back of the plane here. You guys sort this out. Did in a plane, fell asleep, forgot about it all, landed, and I'm walking, and we're walking down the ramp, and you could just see the flashing lights, cameras and shit going off in the airport. And I put my hand in my pocket, and I'm like, what's that? Pulled out all of the shields. They were in my pocket from the night before. So we're like, shit, turn around, get back in the plane, hiding. Someone got any gum, sticky tape, anything. Sticking it on. Oh my lord, there's been some shit that's happened on that Shield. Man, I give you the tip.
Oh gee, that is good.
Yeah, there's and then we lost it
That's
like
right.
4 days later.
Shortest reign ever.
It was.
Moo must have been your captain that year, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's right. Oh mate,
That's one of the great stories.
One of the great
Allardyce
stories,
love
right?
that one.
Mate, he sends in some good questions, the kid, and we may as well carry on with the rest of the questions while we're at it, because we did get heaps of them, and like I said, a lot of them around the piss, but that's good stuff. If that's the start, I enjoyed that one. Okay, this one's best Cordy stitch up.
Oh, yeah. So 2018. So obviously just played for the Stags. We didn't win a game, so I fly back home, and Hawke's Bay were in the finals or whatever. And Smudgy, Ash Dixon, rings me up. He's like, hey, you keen to come to our Cordy? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm keen to come to the Cordy. No dramas. And he's like, bro, we've got you a morph suit, head to toe, and no one's going to know. You just basically, you can do whatever the fuck you want in the court session. You're not allowed to talk, though. Don't talk. None of your shit. Just do whatever you want. No dramas. And I was like, yeah, fucking sweet. This is me all over. And he's like, and the boys have got to guess who it is. I knew the whole team. Everyone fucking knew exactly who it was. I'm that fat-looking guy with a fucked-up nose and, like, awkward body position. Like, they knew it was me straight away. So anyway, we're sitting in the cordy, and it was real important. So they're doing the call outs, like, how are you calling out this? And they had this massive like barrel in the middle full of all sorts of bodily fluids and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, it's like real meaningful and quiet, and someone's listening. It's being real serious conversation. I just got up and just elbow drop, slammed into the bucket full of spew, piss, everything. I'm just covered in the stuff. Didn't know what it was, and they're all sitting on like plastic seats, the plastic seats. I started walking around, karate kicking them and breaking them all off, so they just all fall back and smack their heads. And what the stitch up was is that at one stage I just couldn't remember what was going, like you're just like, ooh, out the back taking a piss. And one of the boys lit a lighter or something, was having a dart, and whatever was on my back was flammable. And they lit it, and it just went woof, and my whole body was on fire. And I didn't, because me being me, I wasn't wearing underwear, nothing. I was just wearing anything under the small suit, and man, I had hectic burns all over my body.
Did you? It was far out. Well, obviously, but mate, how did you put it out?
Oh, I just hit the ground and roll, man. I just hit the ground and roll. I was just like,
jump and roll.
Put beer on me, like sort it out. Yeah, I just I couldn't feel anything, but like in terms of pain, because I was that chocker.
Yeah.
I just was like, yeah.
How bad were the burns? Like, have you got like burn scars or like?
Yeah, the bad ones are on my ass, like on the top of my cheek, like my ass cheeks.
True.
Yeah, they're not like real bad scars, but they look like a birthmark type thing.
Yeah, mate. That is a stitch up.
That was a bit of a stitch up.
Oh man, that is loose. Okay, love it. Okay. Next one. How'd you get the nickname Cootie Dog?
Yeah, I think I might have been a bit of a dog back in the day. And and I think it just resembled the way I played and everything like that. And having mates like Ehai West, Gillies Kaka, and all that, like Duke Edmonds, all those boys, like good friends of mine, all good Havelock men. They all played for Havelock. Just decided, look, he's Cootie, he's a dog, he's Cootie Dog. And then obviously Allardyce and Mark Abbott then called me Dog because basically that's what you're saying. And then James Parsons at the Blues, he just walked around calling me Dog because it just didn't make sense to call someone Cootie Dog, because you just, like I said, you're just calling them Dog. But it sounded way cooler.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, next one. This is a good one. Tell us about the fight against the Turbos when you got a red. This is one of the great fights.
We had a shit season, Like, I remember we beat the Stags first round, and I remember I did like a grade 3 or 4 on my AC joint, and like literally it was like real bad, and had the first week or two off, and I remember just like them jabbing at every game after that, and we didn't win a game the whole season, and it was just one of those. Just the culture started going out the window. I remember the week before the last game, we obviously weren't making the semis. He called us nothing. And Smudgy's like, bro, gets the boys in, bro. We got to, like, you're a senior player in this team now. You got to, like, rev these boys up, So, like, my big thing was just, like, having each other's backs and just getting a bit of mongrel, and just, like, if someone's going to do it, like, have a fight, we all need to jump in for the fight so no one gets red carded. And it was supposed to, and in my head, I'm going, right, I'm going to start a fight, but I'm not going to do it until, like, if I'm still on in the last, like, 20 to 30 to go in the second half. Well, lucky me days, it's like 20, 30 minutes into the first half. We've got a scrum, and there's this guy that plays for the Manawatu. I can't actually remember his name, for Manawatu Turbos, and he was English or Scottish or something, and I just didn't like the guy, but from what I understand, he's actually a bloody nice dude. And don't get me wrong, like, for everyone out there, if you know me, on the field I'm a prick, but off the field I love you. Like, there's no dramas there, but just like playing against the guy, I just did not like this guy. And anyway, I remember Gareth Evans, we pumped them in the scrum and we're revved up, and they're up on the scoreboard, and I'm just like, right, I've got to do something to fire these boys up. So Gareth threw the ball at him and he kind of went through, and I went, you can watch it on YouTube if you like, and I reached like around the back of Gareth's, like went around him and just clocked him and then just like elbowed him at the same time. And then, yeah, it was all on. And then kind of like, it's right on the sideline. So the cameraman's like, there's two cameramen there. There's one filming me and then there's the other one. And in the background, you can still see the other cameraman just like 2 meters away, just zoomed in. And he hits me like I'm underneath him and we're falling and we hit the ground. And then I quickly spun on top of him and gave him a few good ones on the ground. And then this flying Fijian comes flying from the wing bar and just kicked me in the head. Fully, just like, we watch the video, he just flies on bow, and I'm like, holy, get up. And I remember, like, Eli and them aren't big scrappers or anything. Brad Weber's in there, like, all those boys, and they're dusting him up, and I'm like, get me in there, jump in, just boom, jumped on him as well. And, yeah, I got 6 weeks initially, but then because of my impeccable history, I got it deducted. I got 2 weeks off, so I got 4 weeks, and I was supposed to go on tour with the US 4 weeks later. And what I did is I rung up the manager for the US, and I was like, mate, there's a way around this. I reckon what we do is I have signed a contract with the pro team over there, and I just get suspended for those 4 games leading up. Mate. So I just
missed nothing.
Yeah. Mate, Chicago Lions, shout out Chicago Lions. Never even heard of them. Hey, signed a contract, missed 4 games, no drama. Straight in there playing the first game for the Eagles.
Oh, mate, beat the system. Darcy Swain, like, mate, I love that.
Yeah.
That is a loose yarn as well, mate. You've got some of the great loose yarns. Okay, next one. Favourite teammate to get on the piss with? Oh, you would have had a few.
Oh, that's a tough one, man. Honestly, that's a real tough one. That's, obviously playing for so many teams, you come across some good ones. I think I'll pick one in each team. I think Cam Dolan. Oh, yeah. Cam Dolan for the US. He was my roomie. We always became roomies. The Magpies would be a couple, Ben May and Gareth.
Yeah.
Southland Stags. Oh, gee, that's a tough one. Those boys know how to drink some piss down there. With Manaki, Shelby Ricky, doesn't play there anymore. Mike McKee, those type boys. Tatey.
Yeah.
Ethan de Groot goes pretty good on the piss.
Does he? Few lads. Okay, last question for you. Best piece of advice you have for a Woodlad listener?
That's a good one.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, I think just life's a ride. It's a ride, and it's going to have its ups and downs. And I think you just got to just take it as it comes. Like, don't worry about tomorrow. Like, I remember hearing this. Don't worry about tomorrow, for today has enough problems of its own. So, don't getting stressed about the future. Let's just focus on today. Get the jobs done for today, and then tomorrow's stuff will come. So that's something that I kind of follow and stuff like that. I think I just got to. Well, running a business, obviously you've got to think about the future and shit like that, and organise and plan ahead. But in terms of just general life stuff, I think just take it as it comes. It's a ride. It's like I said, it's got its ups and downs.
Stay in the moment, mate. I love that.
Live in the moment.
Oh,
yeah,
mate. What a way to finish one of the greatest podcasts yet. I reckon that was. Geez, there's some yarns in there. I thought there would be, but mate, I think you've blown away even my expectation. Obviously, you're a champion lad, played for so many teams. Obviously, had the pleasure of playing with you for a year at the Canes, and what a lad you were. But really appreciate you coming on the podcast, sharing some of your stories, and awesome to hear that post-footy's gone well so far, and long may that continue.
Cheers, Jimmy. It's an absolute pleasure, and I'm stoked I got the call up. I've been hoping I'd get the call up one day to the What a Lad podcast.
I'm glad it's finally happened, because, geez, that was worth it.
Legend. Thanks, Jimmy.
You're a lad. Guys, thanks for listening. If you got this far, I'm guessing you enjoyed it. And if you could do me And if you could do me a massive favor and share this episode on whatever social media platform you have, or go tell a friend about this podcast, that would be very much appreciated. Love your work.